Hello guys, another red week in the market. The fintech company Chime is surpassing Robinhood valuation. Square is launching new payroll features. Snowflake IPO was crazy. TikTok already getting into a deal. In today's video, I will talk about all that and more. So please smash the like button and subscribe since it really helps the channel out. Another red week in the stock market. The S&P 500 ended down by 1.34%. The Dow Jones 0.24% after being up 2.08% between Monday and Wednesday. And the Nasdaq ended down 2% as well. Once again, stocks were under pressure due to the major downtrend mainly in the tech sector. All the downtrend at the end of the week was mainly because of the Fed outlook that came out on Wednesday. Jerome Powell announced two very important things during his speech. First, he said that the Fed will hold rates at or near to zero until 2023 and also boosted its economic projections, which in my opinion this is excellent for us since we can borrow cheap money for more than 3 years, but it will obviously continue affecting banks' revenue until 2023. The problem came when Jerome Powell said overall activity remains well below its level before the pandemic and the path ahead remains highly uncertain, meaning that even though we have seen some improvement in unemployment and in the economy and some industries, we are still far behind of being back to normal and with a lot of uncertainty still in the economy. Now, we all know that Robinhood was the pioneer on offering a trading platform with zero commissions, which was a game-changing for us investors. It benefited all of us even more when other platforms were basically forced to do the same if they wanted to gain more customers. Still, Robinhood was basically the most valuable US consumer fintech since they gained so much popularity within the investors community because of their free commission business plan. But now Chime is worth $14.5 billion, surging past Robinhood as the most valuable US consumer fintech, while Robinhood raised money last month at $11.2 billion valuation. Chime is a startup company that delivers banking services throughout mobile phones, which is very nice since, as they said, nobody wants to go into a bank branch and nobody wants to touch cash anymore. And people are increasingly comfortable living their life through their phones. I am not saying that they will destroy banks with their platform, but they have that technology to get far and be as big as a bank, even though they do not consider themselves a bank. They consider themselves as a transaction-based, processing-based business model that targets people with income between $30,000 to $75,000. I would really like to know if any of you have used Chime before. Please let me know in the comment section below if you have. How is the platform, how is the service, and everything. Talking about fintech companies, Square launches payroll features that could boost its banking business through the Cash app. If you are a subscriber of mine, you already know that Square is my favorite fintech company. I think that what they do is impressive and love how they have been disrupting the banking industry with their technology. Now, this new payroll feature will for sure help them grow even more. They launched a feature called On-Demand Pay, which lets those using Square for their payroll to pay employees up to $200 of their paycheck ahead of the normal payment schedule. Another feature is called Instant Payments, which lets businesses fund payroll immediately using money in their Square balance instead of waiting to pay through external bank account, which in my opinion I think was long overdue. Apparently, these changes and new updates were decided to be added to the company mainly because of the decrease in cash tips in restaurants, and they are trying to solve cash flows in these type of businesses. Now, I would assume that you all saw what happened to Snowflake IPO. I did a video more in depth talking about it, but long story short, they were set to go public with a stock price of $75 per share and ended going public with a price of $120. The thing is that it was impossible to invest at those prices since at the end it opened at $240 per share. This means that people that were able to invest privately in the IPO at $120 per share already doubled their money the very first day the stock was being traded. For example, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway made $800 million in Snowflake's IPO since they invested millions at their IPO price. What impressed me the most was this article. Snowflake's first day pop mint's IPO left $3.8 billion in the table, the most in 12 years. This basically means that they believe Snowflake could have easily raised way more capital by increasing the valuation of their company even more. As I said, they started with a stock price of $75 per share and ended up with an IPO price of $120. But there's a flip side that's often talked about: money left on the proverbial table. This looks at the abstract concept of opportunity cost, what Snowflake could have raised if it had priced the deal as the broader market valued it. In this case, that figure is $3.8 billion, which obviously makes no sense at all to me because their valuation was already really high with a stock price of $120 per share, which again, no one was able to invest at that price. Still, the stock has been dropping since then. Finally, we have something a little bit more concrete with TikTok. Apparently, Trump has agreed to a deal between TikTok, Oracle, and Walmart so that TikTok could become a US-based company. The ban on US downloads and updates for TikTok app was set to take effect today at 11:59 p.m. and it was postponed because of the deal. Oracle will have 12.5% stake and will provide secure cloud service for data, and Walmart will have 7.5% stake, and it is entering into commercial agreements to provide e-commerce, fulfillment, payments, and other services to the company. Then TikTok's current owner will retain 80% of ownership. Walmart also said that they would work on an initial public offering of the company in the US to bring even more ownership to American citizens. In my opinion, this is going to be very good for both Walmart and Oracle, since the growth that TikTok has been having is impressive and will continue like that. Even more when the next generations are choosing TikTok over Instagram, for example. Obviously, that is a huge competition for Instagram because even though the other generations prefer Instagram, younger generations and younger people will grow using TikTok instead of Instagram, and that could set Instagram in a second place later on. Now, last week, Apple had their annual September event in which they only unveiled their new Apple Watch fitness services and new iPad and iPad Air. I do have to say that I expected way more in this presentation since it's their annual biggest presentation. I understand that we are in a pandemic and that they already announced that they were going to delay the iPhone for a month, but I thought it was going to be just the production and that they at least were going to show us the new one this week. But they didn't, so now we have to wait 1 month and see what they have for the new iPhone. Hopefully with 5G already and something innovative, because I did not see something huge or new in this last presentation. I have to say that I started investing in Apple once again and have been averaging down this past week since it has been dropping even more. I know that a lot of you could say that it will drop even more and I could get a very better price, but I feel comfortable with Apple's current stock price. Last week we had Fedex and Adobe reporting earnings. Adobe reported a revenue of $3.2 billion for the quarter, which is a growth of 14% year over year. Their document cloud revenue grew 22% year over year since they reported a revenue of $375 million, which is an excellent growth in my opinion. I do expect it to grow even more, or at least at a faster pace later on. They continue being the market leader in digital media space since the company provides one of the best solutions in most categories of digital media design and publishing. As I have said before, with their new cloud-based platform, Adobe is also diversifying into digital marketing services, offering data mining services which help businesses measure their page views, purchases, and social media sites. Now, Fedex. They reported revenue of $19.3 billion, which is an increase of 13.5% year over year. A net income of $1.25 billion, up from $745 million, same period last year. As I said, I do expect them to continue with their growth year over year and even more with the acceleration in e-commerce. Even though they do not have a partnership with Amazon anymore since last year, I do believe e-commerce growth will still benefit companies like FedEx and UPS even more. Now, next week, we have companies like CarMax, Nike, Costco, and more reporting earnings. For Nike, analysts are expecting them to report a decrease of 14.9% in revenue for the quarter and 5.5% increase for the year. I do not think that they will drop that much since, because of the pandemic, digital portals gains a lot of popularity really quick, and Nike was already known for their e-commerce. Still, in their quarter 4, they reported lower than expected top and bottom lines due to the pandemic. I do expect to see a recovery for the business for this quarter. And lastly, Costco. Analysts are expecting them to report a growth of 9.5% for the quarter and 8.2% for the whole year. They are also forecasting their stock price to either go down 30% or up 22% within the next 12 months. I do have to say that I love Costco business model because they have better price management, a very strong membership trend, and it has been increasing their penetration in the e-commerce. I do expect to see constant growth for Costco for the coming year since I think they are one of the dominant retail wholesalers based nowadays. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please smash that like button and subscribe since it really helps the channel out. Also, do not forget I have a complete free Discord group chat, which the link is down below in the description. Thank you and see you next time.